live logs, and proper.
Welcome, my Federation brethren, to new enterprise. And Sprock, well known for his words so wise.
Most illogical.
Indeed, we must inform the Starflight Command.
Yes, that's right. We do need to inform the Starflight Command. Star Trek Prodigy Season 1, Episode 13, All the World's a Stage, has been released here on this Thursday, November 10th, 2022. But we're just getting started here on Live Long and Podcast for our live review, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. I'm Dave Mader, and I'm joined with the great Star Trek Prodigy panel to break this episode down and talk about it. Live long and proverb to you, Davan Skelhorn. How are you tonight?
Oh, lift logs and proper.
Live logs and proper, yes. And Jessica Chan with us as well tonight.
Jessica? My fan's blurry. I can't do that.
Yeah, sure. You. Oh, it's going.
Was it like this? Oh, wait. How did I
yeah, there was kind of like it was kind of like
a
that,
mist effect going on.
I'm just blurring so no one can see how messy the house is behind me.
Yeah, like what was it? Because I can't even do it.
I can't do it wrong. I don't remember what it was supposed to.
Yeah. We'll see it. We'll see it in the screenshots. But Jessica, what did you think of this episode?
This is my favorite. This is gonna be my favorite Prodigy episode by far. I love this so much. So much going on. I wish I'd listened to it with closed captions. I watched it with closed captions, so I knew exactly what the mispronunciations were, because I could just hear that they were off, but I wasn't quite sure what they were saying.
Yeah, it's a good point. Because I wasn't quite the lift logs and proper was one.
Lift logs and proper. Yeah.
Live logs and proverb. I don't know.
Lift logs and proper.
Lift logs and proper.
Yeah, lift logs and
proper. See if anyone's done like a transcript yet, so I can see what all the words are.
Yeah, it was some fun stuff. Davan, what did you think of this episode?
Oh, I watched it twice actually, but just because I didn't enjoy it as much the first time because I wasn't paying enough attention. I was cooking at the same time, so I'm like, you know what? I feel like this was better than that, so I watched it again. And yes, it's very excellent, possibly my favorite as well.
Okay, well, I can't say I disagree. Yeah, let's talk about this. All the World's a Stage, written by Aaron J. Waltke, or is it Waltke? Yes,
it's like Waltke.
Waltke. He wrote. Assuming it's a man. Wrote an episode. He wrote the episode 7, first act. Well, which I don't remember now because it was almost a year ago we watched that.
I remember First Contact was good.
Yeah, well, let's see. We gave it an 8.5 that night. So so we liked it. It was actually one of our lowest ratings of the season so far, weirdly enough. And then we've been mostly positive. Well, 8.5 is still pretty good. Directed by Andrew L. Schmidt, a new director we haven't seen before either. But let's talk about the Star Trek Prodigy episode that starts off with the Dauntless guys. And we got people in the live chat. So I also heard something on the interwebs this week that the Dauntless was actually designed by B'Elanna Torres or something like that. Did you hear about that, Gavin?
What was that?
I was asking you. There was a lot of talk this week about how B'Elanna Torres helped design the Dauntless.
Where's this talk? Why is this talk coming? Where is this coming from? What's going on?
I don't know. It's the clickbait articles are out there. You know, they try to get me all the time.
But where's the evidence?
Yeah, evidence. Do I have that as a hotkey?
Evidence.
Yeah, I do.
Evidence. Yes, you had it. Oh man, you're on point with those.
I'm on point. Yeah. Well, yeah, because apparently Kate Mulgrew gave an interview or something that said that she did, but I don't know.
Well,
until
I'm
it's
down
on
with that.
screen. I'm down with it, but until it's on screen, I don't really know why. Yeah, like if it counts.
We're in a cool
Is
comic.
there like a chip bag or something going on?
It's not me.
No. Okay. And then let's talk more about the episode. So we get the Diviner talking to Admiral Janeway. And
this is the most I've ever liked the Diviner.
because he doesn't know. He's
Because
a
he's
little
not
fuzzy.
acting like the diviner.
Yeah, he's acting just like this sick, kind of confused man.
Yeah.
you
No, I've ever
get,
liked him for sure.
This crew that they've given to Admiral Janeway, including Dr. Gnome, who we now know is played by Jason Alexander, also known as George Costanza, as well as Commander Tysus, played by David
Also
Diggs.
known as Art Vandelay.
Art Vandelay, yes, that's right. He always wanted to be an architect, but he ended up being a doctor. Who knew?
And a latex salesman.
Yeah. You want to be my latex salesman.
You
Anyway,
want to be my latex salesman.
They're talking to the diviner, and they're have you seen this man? Yeah, where is he at? You know, and it's because he's like, well, there was something that happened, and then he was arrested, and by me probably, and he doesn't really remember.
Yeah, if you ever want to mess with the diviner, just show him one of these.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So he's getting these flashbacks from his planet. He looks at the comm badge, yes, and all of the shininess there, and it triggers even his daughter wearing the comm badge.
That one was a bit angular, don't you think? Go back to that one. That's terrible.
This one.
Look at that.
You don't
No, the
what's
other
wrong
one.
with this one?
The red one. The one with the red. That one. Terrible.
What
Look how
about it?
angular and pointy that is. There's no
Well, it's
roundness at the bottom. It's all just a bunch of points. That's awful. That doesn't pass the test here. Come on, a costume expert like you, Dave. You're all right with an insignia like that?
I am, because it's accurate to all good things and to like the sort of the end game finale and being accurate with what we had already previously seen. Is Gus okay there?
Yeah, he's just fussy. Wants
Having
to
a
bang
fuss.
on the keyboard.
Hey, Gussie. Oh, fussy
He
Gussie.
wants to bang on the keyboard. Just trying to distract him. I think Sam was like, I heard chip bag. I'm like, no, I'm just letting Gus play with rappers.
Yeah.
And then he drops the coffee or the tea or the water or whatever it is, and he kind of goes into a bit of a, I don't know, like some kind of an attack here. He goes into like a seizure of sorts, and he's losing it. And George Costanza says, "You got to get out of here." He's remembering it. Remember, George Costanza sticks him with some stuff here, and puts him down into it sedates him basically. And this is where Ensign, what's her name? I'm still learning these names. Ensign Essentia.
Oh, yeah, we've seen her before.
Jaemeel.
Yeah, played by Jaemeel.
Yeah, the Trill. She's like, well, guess what? We found the escape pod of Barnes Frex, that good Denoblian guy we met a few episodes ago. And he's like, well, they probably were responsible. Whoever stole the ship is responsible for all of this, destroying the outpost and Barnes Frex and everything that's happened. And we get a great quote here from Janeway.
This is no longer a rescue mission. It's a manhunt.
It's a manhunt, baby.
I don't like the face for real Janeway. I know they're trying to like show you that like obviously hologram Janeway is Janeway like Voyager age, and this is Janeway now. But like I don't know, they made her face so puffy. Like she just looks weird. I don't like it.
Sometimes her facial expressions throw me off a bit more than the hologram Janeway. Maybe that's the reason why. Because it's but I guess they're trying to go a little bit more true to how Kate Mulgrew looks now, or Kate Mulgrew's older in real life. Yeah, because this Janeway is not as old as Kate Mulgrew is now, so it's a little bit off. Yeah. So we come over to the Protostar in the next sequence, and we get the captain's log from Dal, where he basically explains like we can't go anywhere near Starfleet. We were so excited to join the Federation and kind of come, get salvation there, but we can't because if we even hail a Starfleet ship, we'll destroy it. Starflight? No, we don't know about Starflight yet.
Starflight.
Yeah, but we see Dal's putting on the uniform, and but sometimes feels. I don't know. Like there's a few times in this episode, this theme of he feels like a phony. He's not real. He's only playing pretend. Kind of like he's a pretender.
Can you believe these dum-dums playing dress up, pretending to be Federation?
Yeah. right? Which kind of like
Yeah.
resonates quite highly.
Can you imagine? He's like,
Yeah. So, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm still like, when are they wearing the uniforms and when are they not? And then we got
they wear the
Jacob
uniforms
Hogg.
when they leave the ship and go on away missions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess only when they're going on missions. All right.
Okay.
And then we got the Jacob Hogg trying to get this. What is this thing called? Like the ultimate weapon or something like that? This thing that's like that the diviner.
Yeah.
The living
Yeah.
construct.
The living construct. I knew it had like some kind of great name. And yeah, he
That was a
can't
good
quite
name.
solve. He can't solve it. So it's driving his engineering brain a little nuts.
Okay, sweetheart. I know.
So the device is coming through here, and then so they decide, well, since we can't go to the Federation now, we're just going to. And we got the mission going on here, where they find the planet, they find this distress call, but they're not quite sure what to do about it. So they want to go down to the planet to find out what's going on.
they're not really Starfleet. Do they have to do anything? Move along, guys.
Well, I guess that they're like, well, we
not
have to
move
find some
along
kind of-
home. Definitely not move along home.
home.
Move along, guys.
No, not quite. Is it?
No.
But where's my move along home when I need it? That needs to be on the hotkey for sure.
That is
Random.
a hotkey.
Yeah.
The second ship.
Actually, I think I'm missing some fallow codes.
It's only a game.
Second ship. Anyway, I need to get more of those.
Ship.
Guys, Murph might be.
Poor Murph.
We think he's sick, but he's not.
Quite sick. He's quite sick. Maybe not.
He's going through some
Maybe
kind of
not.
a metamorphosis.
Well, he is a slime worm. Who knows what they do?
Who knows what they do? Well, at the end of this end of the episode, he's in a cocoon, a chrysalis.
Yep. A chrysalis.
What's going on
Yes, indeed.
What's Murph going to turn into?
Well,
I'm
you
very
know.
curious.
I know. I'm very curious as well. Like clearly, like the scientists and stuff know because Baroness Frex recognized him.
Yeah, he knew about the species, but they can't.
It's definitely known.
Right.
Yeah.
So Rock Talk's going to stay back for the mission here, and Jankum Pog, who is becoming my favorite character, I think, of this crew. Just
I was about to say the opposite.
He's your least favorite?
He started as my favorite, and he's become my least favorite because now I find like Star Trek episodes happen around him, and then he just throws out the things they want the kids to know, or like he'll be like the point of view character of the child, so he'll just be like, "I'm afraid," and it just comes off kind of weird, or like I don't know. It just feels like Star Trek to me, and till he starts to talk, and then I'm like, "Oh right, this is a Star Trek kid show."
Okay, that's how I felt about Rock Talk. Like more.
See, I love Rock Talk. She just seems like an earnest young ensign to me.
Ensign. The call of Ensign.
Ensign.
Yeah. Well, Jankum Pog just said.
Jankum's feeling a tiny tickle in his throat. Cough, cough, cough. Maybe Pog will sit this one out too.
Nice try. You're coming.
Uh-oh.
He calls himself Pog now.
Jankum Pog.
That's new. Yeah, but he just
We
calls
always-
himself Pog.
Last episode too, I noticed.
He's
Did
Pog.
he?
Pog.
Huh.
Yeah, he's a Pog.
Yeah.
And so they beam down
Old Pog.
from the protostar, and they said they kind of talk about how
They're
the
all
beaming affects
Medusans British butlers.
are all Medusans.
How many
British
Medusans have we seen? Have they all been British
Dude,
butlers?
this
with
is
you, or
only the
is this
second-
Mr. Pog. Yeah.
Well, if
Yeah.
they were bad guys in the original series, then they were probably British. Isn't
They
that
weren't
the
bad
point?
guys. We only met one Medusan before, and he was not a bad guy. He was more. It's just that you can't look at them. And there was this one that took
Yeah.
over Spock in the episode that featured that. And and
Even if they
so
were perceived villains at first, usually aren't they British? Everyone's British. If you're evil,
yes,
or you
but
think they're going to be evil, they're British. Just
yeah, but Zero is the first Medusan character who has their own voice. So we'll have to see, I think is the answer. but a British butler, perhaps. They beam down, and they're like, the beaming effect took too long. They know that there's all this subspace interference, and they don't know why. So there's kind of like this mystery to solve here. They're scanning around, looking for what to do, and that's when they run into our friends here, the Enterprisians.
Oh yes, Enterprisians.
The Enterprisians. Who first tried to get them, and he tells them, "Wait, no." Oh yeah, he totally shoots Jankum Pog too, or is it just Pog?
Yep, just Pog now.
Do you know that Jankum? Okay, so Jankum Pog is a different kind of Tellarite than the one Jason Alexander plays, because Jason Alexander's character has 5 fingers, and Jankum Pog is the type of Tellarite that only has 3. Closer
is
to
that a
pig.
thing?
Yeah. Yeah, there's 2 kinds of Tellarites, 5-fingered and 3-fingered.
I didn't know there was. Did you know this before that episode?
I did because there's the way there's basically like the Tellarites as shown in the original series, and then when Enterprise did them, they did them I think with 5 fingers or maybe a combination.
They did.
So I think they're like, no, they both exist. Both are canonical. So, but little
so
fun fact.
He's a TOS. He's a
TOS era, 23rd century, if you will.
Those ones give me nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah, they're terrifying.
The hollow eye sockets.
Yeah, with the hollow eye sockets. Yeah. I will talk to you now, Vulcan. Anyway, so these guys with their patched together shirts, which I really loved, where they, he says, "No, stand down, Sulu," or was it?
I am James T. This is Sulu.
Sulu.
Stand down, Sulu. Stand down. It's a Starflight landing party. They've finally arrived.
It's a Starflight.
It's like it's like someone saw one of those shirts that are meant to induce rage. Use the Force, Luke, Gandalf from something. I don't know.
Use the Force, Harry, and
and then it's just like someone was like, "That's a great idea. Let me make an episode around." Everything is wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I loved all of this. I was laughing my ass off throughout all of these scenes. Like a lot of these just things they were saying. You answered the call.
You have answered the call. The call of Ensign. A day we feared would never come, but you're here at last.
Oh, yeah, and it's like a great Kirk impression. Maybe the most stereotypical Kirk impression ever done in Star Trek canon.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's been done in parodies so much, but in actual Star Trek canon, this is amazing. Where these aliens are impersonating.
Never.
Yeah. The funniest thing to think about that is that like everything they learn from that one ensign. So that ensign had to tell them.
Yeah, this is how my captain
That's
talks.
how the ensign talks.
He's like, this is how he talks.
Yeah, I have this captain, and he talks very staggered, and this got passed down through all the generations.
And he told them the wrong name for Spock.
Sprock.
Yeah, he's Sprock.
And Sprock, well known for his words so wise.
Most illogical.
Most illogical. That was right though, wasn't it? I didn't hear a miss. Like he actually said it.
He said the illogical part right. Yes.
Yeah, the illogical part.
Yeah. So they're kind of getting some parts right, but not most of it's wrong or a little off.
They got the insignia right. They just wear it a little crooked.
They wear it a little crooked, and they're all wearing the operations insignia because the ensign that they rescued was was a red shirt. So but weirdly they all wear green.
Is the stitching like just because you're supposed to show it's homemade, or is it because like the shirt like that he was like all ripped up by the time they saved him? Is that why?
Well, maybe we're gonna see. We're gonna see a screenshot later on of his shirt itself, and maybe these patterns follow that. But I thought that these were just meant to show like homemade or like a little bit more patched together, so to say.
The shirt looked a little more intact.
Yeah. Anyway, so like, oh yeah, there it is. Like you have to go like that basically or something. That's kind of like what he's doing.
It's in the middle.
It's like kind of like that. Yeah. So there. And what was this ship? We never really got an answer about what this ship was, did we? Or that's where they live.
Comes from.
That's their house.
Well, that's
like
New
their
Enterprise.
their communal living area, their city.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I guess I just
The Enda Prize. It's called the Enda Prize.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure because the shuttle was separate, so this was some other ship that got here somehow. Yeah, like
I think they built this based on. This is
Oh!
like fully
Design.
handmade based
Yeah.
on his descriptions of what a ship looks like. So I think they got it upside. Is it? It's upside
They
down,
give the
right?
buildings nacelles.
Yeah, but like so those
Well, no, if
those
it's,
aren't real
like,
nacelles.
No, it's just
No,
like
they're
for
not
show.
nacelles.
Those are just like for
Yeah.
decoration.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are
to make it look
Those
like
are-
a ship, like Ensign.
those are big structures to build for something you don't need. But
Well, these are probably observation decks. They're like a little window there at the end. Quite nice.
oh yeah, maybe they have some greeneries. Okay, so that's what they're going inside of here. Okay, and he's like, everybody, they've returned. Come into with New Enterprise.
Welcome, my Federation brethren, to New Enterprise.
Enterprise. We see sort of like a Zephram Cochrane type statue. I think that's what that's supposed to
Of
be.
Ensign.
Of
I think it's supposed to
Ensign.
be Ensign.
Kind of reminds me of the robots from Bill and Ted. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, and these
good-
people like
good
they're
robots.
they're very similar to I guess the Iosians who were very imitative. The ones who did like in the piece of the action, the ones who were pretending to be like 20s gangsters because they're very
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
imitative
creative.
asked, right? I love how
Isn't
they're even practicing fighting like original series style. You know, like he's gonna grab you, and then you're gonna hit him in the neck here, and then you're gonna go, oh, you know, and then go, yeah, right. Learning how to like push the buttons and things like that. Call of Ensign, and like that, you know, I think she calls up to Janeway a few times, get some information. They're like, you have to see the logs. Have you seen the logs?
Lift logs and proper.
Yeah, you must hear the logs.
They are Starflight?
Well, they answered the call. You must hear the logs. We've stayed prepared and kept them word for word, just as our forefathers did. So, we must play the logs. Everyone, to the bridge!
Nice. To the bridge, which is just a stage.
Stage.
Yeah, this play was so much fun. I got a few little pieces of it, you know.
Captain's log, stardate many moons ago. A great ship flew through the cosmos, bearing heroes of legend.
Heroes of legend.
Heroes of legend.
Well, like this,
Yeah.
like a callback. Like it's like their plays are like a showing of Rocky Horror or whatever that's called. Like callbacks. They're supposed to yell at the screen or the
Right.
actors when
It's
they
very interactive. Yeah. Yeah, Jacob Hoggs, like you know, these dum-dums playing like Star Trek.
Can you believe these dum-dums? Playing dress up, pretending to be Federation.
Yeah. You know, they're like, who will answer the call? They're like, we will. You know, get the communicator out, calling through. I don't know. It was really fun. It was really endearing. One of my favorite scenes I've ever really seen, I think, in this show for sure. And watching.
Did I
our
just
crew
hear
react.
super simple songs?
Sorry. Yes. Right.
I recognized it well. No, don't be sorry. It runs in my head all day, every day.
Yes. It's an upgrade from Coco Melon, so I'm fine.
Oh my god, I hate Coco so much.
Yeah.
We managed to keep it away from Coco. We keep her away from Coco Melon,
That's
and
a
now
good
she's on to
decision.
it recently.
Good decision.
We're also learning a lot about like the
Sorry,
mystery
Kevin.
guy. That's okay. We're also learning about the mystery here about like what's the sickness that's going to make people die. The gallows, they keep calling it the gallows. The sickness.
Gallows,
There's
the thing that's
Yeah.
destroying our people.
our people, and the ensign who told us, of the way it was, but he died. Now we're all talking like that.
Oh.
Yeah. But
I wonder if like everyone who's named after Kirk has to talk like that.
yeah, I'm named
That's the
James
way I
T.
gather it, because Sulu talks like Sulu.
Yeah.
Do we get the name of the Bones guy?
Was there a Bones?
Boons. I think it was Boons. I was looking at
There's the doctor who
Boons?
talks
Dr.
like
Boons.
Bones.
Boons and Sprock.
Oh, Boons.
Boons and Sprock.
Yeah.
Boons.
It was interesting.
And
that
there's a
this
Scotty
whole
guy too, and an Uhura.
There was a Scotty, yeah. So he taught them how to do a Scottish accent too, fairly accurately.
Yeah.
More than I could.
Well, as
do.
good as Scotty anyway.
It was powerful.
It was fairly powerful. Poor is what he controls. Anyway, but this whole thing like kind of rocks Gray a bit, because Gray's feeling like a bit of an imposter because he feels like they're imposters or something like that. Maybe a little bit, like maybe agreeing a bit with Jank and Pog about.
You mean Dal?
Dal, yeah.
Yeah. That one.
But this woman shows up here with the sickness, and Boons is trying to treat her. This is the gallows. We find out. It turns out to be a radiation sickness from the plasma.
That's Uhura. She's Uhura.
He's called Uhura.
I wonder what the character's name is.
Okay, I wasn't really. Yeah, I didn't learn most of it. I only learned James T and Sulu.
Sulu. I'm looking to see if I can find it in the end song.
Yeah, we don't know how to help it, but then we see Brett actually, or sorry, not Brett. Gray. No, wait, Dal. Not Brett Gray is the actor. Dal. Is who I'm talking about. Dal L. Who's got the sickness, the gallows now.
Dal RL.
Dal RL.
Her name is Cadet Hoorah.
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 Yeah. And like Jankum's afraid of getting like the disease now, and like they're I guess Zero's become the default medical officer of this crew now.
Yeah, I like that too. They've further defined the roles on the ship.
Yeah.
And I like how the show is like slowly building up to like Star Trek as we know it, sort of thing. So by the time like that you just finish watching the series, you could probably like drop them right into a Star Trek series and they'll get it all.
Yeah, they would already know. They would already have like the information, because they've learned so much along the way, and it's all been set up.
And this episode's been the perfect example of how clever they are at introducing these themes, like the Star Trek themes, but also like the moral themes, without being like Magic School Bus, where you're just Miss Frizzle explaining it all exposition style to you.
Right.
Like they're very clever. They just build a storyline around an idea, or even an alien race or whatever. They're being very clever about it.
I also like this episode, although I don't know if I should save it till when we get through the recap, but I feel like part of this episode was a message to the older people watching the show, personally. Or at least that's how I took it.
What was the message you took from it?
Interesting.
I feel like it was like kind of shaming those, oh, these aren't real fans. Like, oh, you just started watching whatever XYZ. That's not the original series. You're not a real Star Trek.
Like gatekeepers and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like this was like, hey, they may have got some details wrong. I don't know every little thing, and they get some things right, but it's the message that matters.
But where they say they got this. Yeah, I love that message.
And that's good enough.
Yeah, they got some things right. And that's what,
but then like she's doing like the wrong handshake or the salute, the Vulcan, and then she corrects it, right? So you could like
they'll learn, but like you don't shame whatever introduction you get to Star Trek is a good introduction to Star Trek, and don't shame people for not knowing every little tiny thing about.
Yeah, or especially what I do hold the writers to a higher standard because I expect them to know what they're writing about, but. That aside, yeah, I totally agree with that. But yeah,
don't
so back
shame
to the
people for liking Assignment Earth. It's simple.
Well, let's not hit any hot button issues here.
Get into the hot stuff tonight.
We were all agreed on stuff. Where is the evidence to Assignment Earth being bad? Is there evidence? Evidence. Well, you gotta watch it. It's all a matter of opinion, really. But yeah, so here, just on where we are in the episode recap. So this is where Rock Talk was taking a sample off Murph to kind of try to figure out what's going on. and Hologram Janeway helping out, but they're like, they need you, Rock Talk, on the planet because Dal's sick and they're down an away team member and they need you to go down. So Hologram Janeway is left. She's the science officer, so they need her
studying all of them, all 100.
She's like more than one. Yeah.
There's more than one.
So Hologram Janeway is left to take care of Murph, and I don't know. I saw no care being given, but I digress.
She stands there and goes, "I'll try my best."
What do I do for this indestructible slime worm? Exactly. Go there. Anyway, so they go into the gallows to go kind of figure out what's going on. I like that they put on the radiation suits or like the environmental suits. I thought this was smart. I think that this is something they don't do in proper Star Trek more often when they're going into hostile environments because they don't want the actors to have to fog up things. But in cartoons, less of an issue.
Also, they're adults that know how to use sensors, if you will.
Well, then they were specifically told there was
something
wrong down there, like it made Del sick, right? So they knew they had to.
Yeah.
True.
This reminds me of Galaxy Quest. What are you just taking out your element? Was there air down there? You don't know. Yeah, seems fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Gus loves this part.
Is this where Dal was like having like the insanity sickness? Going crazy and like trying to scratch his own skin off and stuff like that, and then this guy gives him like a stick, and they put like leeches on his neck or whatever.
Put a worm on him.
Yeah,
there it is.
So this is going to help. So after 100 years, they figured out how to treat this illness a little bit more. And then he starts saying like, "You probably think we're all backwards and unrefined, etc." I liked the speech that we got from Boons.
Me too. It's just like there's gaps in our knowledge, but we're trying and we're learning and all this. Yeah, man, these Enterprisians are great.
Here's the shirt, guys, that was worn.
There's the shirt.
It's not ripped in that pattern. Although, do you know what's interesting now that I'm looking at it is that it's it reminds me a lot more of the uniform worn by them in Star Trek Beyond, which is the Chris Pine, the third of those movies. With the higher collar.
Well, they seem to be. They were playing that kind of music too. That's what.
Yeah, well, it's the same composer because Michael Giacchino, who wrote the music for this show, also wrote the music for those movies, and so interesting. Yeah, but yeah, it's not ripped in that pattern. So
if you've never read Michael Giacchino's music tracks, by the way, you should do them because his tracks are always puns.
Read them. Oh, like the titles.
The titles of his tracks for the scores, because like one of the ones for the original Star Trek, the Kelvin universe was "Enterprising Young Men," stuff like that. Really good. He did the music for Lost too. And there's a lot of like good Lost puns. One of them is really, really bad. Like Charlie, there's an episode where Charlie gets like strung up, and it's like Charlie hangs around. That's the name of the track. They're kind of funny.
I like his music. There's another show he writes for that I really like too. I'm just blanking at the moment, but so we get that close up and he talks about it. We're cutting over to the cave situation where we got Gwyn and Rock Talk and Jankum are heading into this cave thing where we find a bunch of dilithium crystals, ironically enough, throughout the cave, and this big green gas comes off. They kind of like they slide down the track, and then they see these red things in like the gas, and then we get to kind of see what it is, and it's a Galileo, the the Galileo shuttlecraft from like the episode the Galileo 7. It's not the Gallows, it's Galileo that's there, and it's very interesting spot that it's been sort of left on. I don't know, like just kind of on the edge here. It's emitting all this radiation, and we see where that's coming from.
The episode with these guys.
Who are those guys? Ewoks?
No, they're the Turians from that episode of TOS.
Oh, from the Galileo 7. Yeah, the savages. Yeah, and so we see like this is dripping down and going into it. I guess like they explain to us that this is going to explode if it falls into like the puddle down below, or like the lake of radioactive goo.
But then it does fall in and it doesn't explode. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Rock Talk. They kind of that doesn't really explode at all. They beam them out before it can sort of fry them up or something. I think Gus wants to join the conversation. Well, you may.
The shuttle plasma must be chain reacting with explosive minerals in the rock. That is their explanation.
Probably friggin' Kelvinite again.
But this was Jankum
that
Pog's
Kelvin.
like heroic moment, guys, where Jankum's like, "I'm going to fix this. I'm going to get this figured out." You know.
If we come across one more thing Pog can't fix, then Pog can't call himself an engineer.
Do you want to meet Jankum Pog? Gus?
He's in uniform for this.
Yeah, he's in uniform.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's fixing this thing, and then they explain to Zero that they can what it is, and they can get like the antidote going to help cure them of the radiation sickness. Now that they know what the cause is, which they do, and they give them the injections. That makes them better. Dal's all back to normal, and they give him his communicator, and he's getting into things, and he tells Janeway to get on the job here. And he's like, well, we need you to come up here into the ship, Dal, and come help us save things. And he's like, I don't have a crew. We don't have enough crew. Like, wait, maybe we do. And so he decides to take up the Endoprisians up to the
it's going to
Protostar.
shut Janeway down and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, Janeway was like, this, because they explained to us that the rules around second contact are a little bit fuzzy, as we know from Star Trek Lower Decks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
contact's a rough one.
Yeah, second contact. And so like they're like looking around and they're cool. It's fun to be on a Starfleet ship, but it doesn't look like what they would expect it to. Even though they never saw any of that stuff, it was only described to them by this guy, right? But apparently,
maybe they have replicas though. They probably have museums based on his descriptions and everything. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like in that Voyager episode where they had like Voyager recreated and all that stuff.
Yeah, they're very much not sure how to proceed. So they're like, what does Dal say? They're a little bit retro.
They're a bit retro. Got anything more old school?
Yeah, she's a computer. Make it 23rd century. And I loved this. I'm like, yeah, they have. No, not you.
How did it work?
Go
Did
back
they
to the
overlay
controls
it?
were somehow. Yeah, they holographically overlaid it and tied it into the steering.
Sorry,
But it's funny those controls though. It's just like color combinations.
I might need to mute
Like you have
myself.
there's no screen.
Yeah.
There's no screen or anything. Like you just have to miraculously know the color combination to do each thing. It's just like, well, I want to move the ship, so I go green, red, yellow.
I hit blue button. Yeah.
Green.
Well, that was the whole thing with the original series controls is that they were so
Go to warp
random
6.
and-
Warp 6. Oh, that one sucks. Red, green, blue, orange. What was the last one?
if you know the color combinations,
controls are
that's what it's all
hilarious.
about. Yeah.
At least you'd
so
never
they're
be
heading
able to
out.
like commandeer their ship. You'd just be like, can anyone fly this thing?
Yeah, and so like Rock
Try
Talk
blue,
and
red, green, and then like self-destruct initiated.
I mean, that's I did blue, green. No. Anyway, they're about to fall to their death, so they need the Protostar to head in, and this is where we start getting like the log from the actual ensign Garovic. We find out is the name.
This is Ensign Garovic, the USS Enterprise. This will be my final call to Starfleet. Hoping you'll come. Though I've long given up that anyone will hear it.
Hope's a funny thing, isn't it? I tried to do my duty. Salvaged what I could from the wreck. Went to save the locals from the danger before I fell to my injuries. But then they welcomed me, healed me, gave me hope when I had none. In the end, they were the ones who saved me.
They saved him. And now they're able to help the Protostar crew save them from this Galileo shuttle falling into this soup of radioactive into the gallows itself, and they but here comes the Protostar. It's a good thing that the ship is so small to fly into a cave. Very versatile. We hit those blue, green buttons. And they beam them out in the nick of time. Then it falls in, and they materialize here. Yeah, and it doesn't explode. I don't think that they wanted to fall into that stuff, but
no, definitely didn't blow up.
Yeah. So they then proceed to get out of there. It kind of goes gassy on them a little bit, and they fly over. And I'm like, yeah, well, there's a big moment here, and these three that went onto the ship with them, they're like huge heroes now, big celebrities, amongst them, right?
James T, Sulu.
Yeah, I love this where he put her up on the shoulder. Yeah, there was just it was really fun. There's a lot of joy in this episode,
Yeah.
And they do the Vulcan salute, even and we see that 3-fingered Jankum Pog has no choice.
That's literally just Jankum's hand.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
his hand is
okay. It's all his hand is. Unlike that Jason Alexander type Tellarite who would have to break it up. And I like how she's doing it wrong and then does it right. It's so fun. Still can't figure out why they wear green, but whatever. And it's cool. They're building things. They're phasering things. I love the original series and more modern phasers, especially with the original series having that blue color. That looks so good. So this guy gave them multiple phasers and communicators and everything. This Ensign Garovic.
Looks like he taught them how to build some things. No way he just had that many. Well, maybe there was that many on the Galileo, I guess, but that would have to be all of them.
He would have had to carry a lot of equipment with him out of the Galileo, but and so they end up giving them technology, including this med kit and some more modern stuff. The prime directive of it all, could be discussed, but it seemed like the right thing to do. And now they're even building Jankum Pog into into their plays on the bridge and stuff like that.
He said that no one plays him; he's just a cutout.
He's just a cardboard cutout.
The costume department is working as fast as they can. You can't expect miracles.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, they're working on
just come back in a week.
And them looking up at the Protostar in the sky, and it was nice. I liked how they were at the end of the episode. They're kind of all in their positions on the bridge, and I guess these 5 in particular. Right, Murph is sort of this other. Yeah. Murph's like their pet almost, but they warp out, and then
Murph's
Rock Talk.
Murph's their Neelix.
Murph's their Neelix. Are we sure Murph's not?
He's the morale officer.
He's not. He's not like their Porthos.
No.
We see
cheese he wants.
He would, and then we see there's Rock Talk finds Murph in the chrysalis at the end here. What's going on, and what can we expect from this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued.
Wings, butterfly wings.
Butterfly wings?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, that's kind of the big moment, and that's the end of the episode.
I really hope he just comes out exactly the same.
This is how he sleeps. It's like a sleep cycle, like denobulins.
Just digesting something released.
All right, well, let's get into some quick little detail. Do you guys want to hear something funny? Sure. I love how you set up some of your questions, Sam,
by Dave,
with other questions. All right, let's do details. Or by Davan, no, this Dave. Here we go. Okay, so the quote is from a famous passage of William Shakespeare's As You Like It, as was one of several episode titles taken from Shakespeare works, being All the World's a Stage. The idea of a civilization patterning itself after Starfleet and the Federation was previously explored in Star Trek Unlimited's A Piece of Reaction. In the comic book, Sigma Iosha 2 develops thusly after being contacted by Kirk's Enterprise by the time the Enterprise D returns to the planet. The storyline was also considered for the Star Trek Deep Space Nine's 30th anniversary episode, Trials and Tribulations. This episode features the fate of both ensigns David Garovic, who last appeared in the Star Trek original series episode Obsession, and the Galileo shuttle, which last appeared in the Immunity Syndrome. The timeline of these events would indicate that they took place sometime between the last appearance of the Galileo in the aforementioned the Immunity Syndrome, which was in 2268, and the first appearance of the Galileo 2 in the episode The Way to Eden, which we know well from doing that is in our radio theater, which that had the Galileo 2, after it was presumably replaced. So, guys, Ensign Garovic was a character we already had been introduced to. I knew the name. I was like, have I heard of a Garrett? I thought I was getting confused with Rachel Garrett from the Enterprise C. Yeah. Garrett. Oh, this guy. Okay, let's talk. Let's quickly just bring him up. So, I hate all the ads that freaking Memory Alpha now throws up. But this guy who appeared in those episodes.
Ensign.
So he was so he died sometime between 2268 and 2384.
It's funny though, like, this is the episode that follows up on a red shirt. Like they always just write the red shirts off as dead and leave. But they're like, no, actually some of us live.
And when they also were like, he was so brave and this, and like they were really talking him up. I was like, finally get the respect they deserve.
This was was there a red shirt that actually lived? We need to tie that up and kill him off.
It's true.
I remember this character now. This guy was in the episode where it's like the smoke monster that is Kirk encountered on the Farragut, and it was actually this guy's father who had served with Kirk on the Farragut, and so there's other, they're trying to avenge all of that stuff. And guys, interestingly enough, the voice that we heard, the one that I had played a little earlier, of the voice of Garovic was actually Fred Tatasciore, who is the voice of Shax from Star Trek Lower Decks. Was it? Yeah. So some interesting details discovered there. What else? This is also the second pre-warp civilization to perform plays based on stories told from a crashed Starfleet shuttle pilot. The first being told through B'Elanna Torres's On the Keyless Homeworld in the Star Trek Voyager episode Muse, following the crash of the Delta Flyer. That's one of my least favorite.
Does every Star Trek series have an episode called The Muse? Good God, and they're always bad.
It was just called Muse, no the. But it's never a good episode. Okay. And like Garovic, Data inadvertently poisoned a pre-warp civilization, albeit more directly. Like in the Star Trek Next Generation episode, Thy Own Self. That was the one where Data was known as Jaden. I am Jaden. I am a nice man. So, okay, guys. Well, let's get into our episode ratings. Yes. All right, ratings. All the World's a Stage. I'm going high on this. I'm going 10. I like this. Davan.
10.
Jessica.
10. Captain.
10.
It's a perfect score. Okay, so as of a little while ago, it was a perfect score from the panel tonight. 8.7 on IMDb with 21 votes at this time. Great job to the team who put this episode together. And would you guys say that this is an ensemble episode? It's a little bit of a Jank and Pog focus, maybe, but
maybe also a Dal a little because kind of felt like an imposter, and
Yeah, Dal. So like Dal.
Yep. Yeah. Every episode's
What-
kind of a Dal episode. He's a cat.
I guess,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it was more of an ensemble, and them like, I felt like it was a good, like, I always admire this show. Like, they have good stories and they're one-offs, but also like they advance the plot. So like this one, in a way, they thought they needed the protostar for Starfleet to take them in, but the more they learn about Starfleet, the more they realize we can still go there, even if we have to leave this protostar behind. We can still make our way to the Federation.
Right. But like, yeah, it seems like it's they're like we're gonna just carry on the spirit, I guess, is kind of what they're kind of going for, right? Is to carry on the spirit of Starfleet, and we have, I guess, because they're not sure what else to do. Like they're like, we're just gonna go around helping people.
Well, I don't know. I took it as them saying they're gonna make their way to the Federation somehow, even if it means leaving the protostar. That's what I thought. That's what he said at the end. He said even if we have to leave the protostar behind, we're gonna make our way to the Federation. That's what I heard at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. They'll sacrifice the ship to get back. No, Uhura was a red skirt.
Red skirt. That's true. There was some red skirts that died too. There was that one yeoman that got crushed by what's his name? You know, when he turned them into little cubes.
Yeah, we did that episode, didn't we?
Yeah, like a long time ago. Anyway, but Scotty would also be a red shirt that lived. Yeah, that's true. Sam gives this episode a 7.5. And Dave, will you rate Gilligan's Island? Well, only if there's a Gilligan's Island podcast, Sam. And you have not won the bet yet. So we'll see.
I'll go ahead right now and give them all a 4.
All the Gilligan's Island episodes?
Yeah, 4. Solid 4.
I haven't watched one in a long time.
Yeah. I don't know. Pretty much the same. It's the same plot for every episode.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Something happens. They almost make it off the island, but they don't.
And then they don't.
And then don't.
Exactly. Guys, let's just look a little bit ahead to the next episode of Star Trek Prodigy, which is called what is this? So it's called Crossroads.
All the World's a Bridge.
All the World's a Bridge?
Yeah,
so we'll be here in a week's time on November 17th to talk about Crossroads, and there's still quite a few more episodes to go in this season. It definitely has a different feel than Lower Decks did, so I'm curious to see where this goes. Okay, and you should check out all our other great Star Trek podcasts here on Live Long and Podcast. If you're not already, did you know we had a great team here? We got locutors of Trek. We got Treckle Trunks.
What?
We do. We got debates.
Yeah, we just did one of those.
Debate 9. Trivia.
We do have debates. I haven't done them. We'll probably do for a debate 9 soon. Probably do for trivia soon too. Dave's been banished from that show though.
Yeah, because I'm too good.
Too good.
I succeeded so much I failed. So that's how.
If you want
a
someone
dedicated connection to memory alpha.
I can be on there and be terrible and not know anything because I do not retain details like that very well. So.
There you go.
You
Jessica
want me to come on and not know any of the answers?
Yep.
She's like, I'll come and be a jobber.
I just have a board, like,
I'll wing it.
Property that's like, hi, Mom. I bet
Jessica
one day.
shows up. She's just like, so is this like multiple choice or?
It's like, I choose C.
C for all of them.
All of them.
Jessica wins with 75%.
That's good enough. And then we also got our review podcasts, in addition to the ones we've done here at Prodigy. But we've talked about Star Trek Lower Decks, Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So many, including the ones that were made a long time ago, like Star Trek The Original Series, including Assignment Earth. And we've talked about, we're continuing to talk about Star Trek Enterprise. We're doing that on Monday nights, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And we got the radio theater coming up very soon. Did that come out? Did issue 3 come out?
Jessica as every character.
Yes.
No, that was issue
1. She was asking, like, when are we doing that? I'm like, I'm not exactly sure when we're doing it.
I don't know. I didn't know if the third one came out yet. So
Are we still waiting
It's
for the
not
third
out
issue? I thought it was early November.
It's like next. Nah, it's like mid-November.
Mid-November.
Oh no,
Okay.
it didn't come out today or yesterday.
Okay, so and then we're looking ahead to those things. So if you didn't know, we also did a Star Trek Radio Theater in September. It feels like a long time ago. I'm almost done the edit, if you can believe it, and it's ready to come out. It's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit.
God, I was thrown under the bus. I tell you.
I know. You did great with the limited tools you had at your disposal, which was this back then. I'm sure it's been 2 months since we recorded it, but it will be published tomorrow. I guarantee it.
I never want to do narration again.
You do great. You were great in the narration.
Reading it is fine. I don't want to write it.
You were funny. There was a lot of funny stuff.
I respect,
especially the outfits. I love how you were criticizing all like the hippies.
I was obsessed with them, and you can't see anything. I was like, everyone needs to know how ridiculous these outfits are. You need to see the whole picture.
My favorite was where you're like, it's definitely he does his little one sign, which is definitely more of a circle when he does it. But when they do it
straight, one of them was like this, and then the other one was like this. I'm like, you guys don't even know what you're doing. Get your shit together. Sorry, put your stuff together.
Yeah. All good. So looking forward to that and our Star Trek Radio Theater series. If you haven't checked those out, you should. Ted wants to Ted on a debate night. He would never do it. He would never do it unless he could. Only if you got to talk
Ted,
about.
Here's what my opinion is on this. Yeah, well, you're an idiot.
Yeah, that's it.
You're an idiot.
You guys we did the Charlie X episode a long time ago. Or is that Radio Theater Charlie X?
Another bad episode.
Yeah, I think there's other ones ahead of that on our list, but maybe one day. Okay, guys, and did you know about the United Federation of Podcasts, our network of podcasts? It's got a great amount of players involved, including the X-Rated podcast with Davan and Andre on Tuesday. They just talked about the Phoenix Saga. Who's that interview you got coming up with one of the writers?
Oh, on the graphic history. Oh, Brooks Wachtel this week. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Is that on graphics or on guy. He's also a magician at the Magic Castle down there in Hollywood. He's got an interesting fella. We'll have a good conversation with him on Tuesday. He also wrote the last episode of the Dark Phoenix Saga, as well as Jubilee's Fairy Tale Theater. Classics.
Yeah. Excellent. And the Graphics History podcast, Andre coming back with that soon. Hold Up, another.
Well, that's back on the 18th, and he's interviewing John Russo, who co-wrote the original Night of the Living Dead movie with George Romero. So check out that interview.
The one in the 60s?
The Graphic Histories podcast. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What's going on in Hold Up?
Well, you should know you're going to be there. We're going to watch 3 movies on Dystopia. I just watched Logan's Run.
I've seen that before.
Run, but I'm not going to spoil the show. Yeah.
I still haven't seen Southland Tales, so that's the one. That's the other one we're talking about.
I'm dreading watching it. Yeah, I'm dreading it.
Well, we got to do it. And can you play a Survivor song? No. It's a Star Trek podcast. And then what else, guys? Trivial Debates coming up very soon. We just confirmed our panel today. Davan Skelhorn hosting on November 27th with Chris Seymour, Jaemeel Robinson, and Ryland Forsyth competing in a music-themed episode. Some great questions.
Rye sent in his topics already. His answers.
Ryland?
Rye's in. Get in there.
Right.
Yeah, he's in. Send his topics in. Some good ones. Yeah, hurry up and get in there, Jaemeel and Seymour. Come on now.
Yeah, stop slacking. You won't get your answers. All right. I think that's all of our shows. You should also, of course, check out the Hellbound podcast, a horror movie podcast with Alex Blackburn and Michael Chan. And Jessica Chan. As well as...
And Gus Chan.
But I've been subjected to I don't know how many horror movies. I don't get to choose anything anymore. All we watch is nonstop horror movies.
Oh, Jane would be in heaven or hell. You guys should do a Gilligan's.
Perhaps Limbo.
A Gilligan's themed island trivial
What is
debates
the debate? Which coconut machine was worse?
was the best of Professor's inventions. That could be an interesting one.
Will they ever get off the island? Go ahead, debate.
Debate? No. The answer is no, because then there's no show. All right. Well, thanks for being with us here on the Star Trek Prodigy All the World's a Stage review here on November 10th, 2022. Have a solemn Remembrance Day or Memorial, or is it Veterans Day, I guess, tomorrow in the States. A reflective one. And we will see you next time here on Live Long and Podcast. Thanks for being with us, everyone. We will see you next time. Is it like this or is it like this? Not quite sure. All right. We need a good one here, guys.
You have answered the call of Son. A day we feared would never come, but you're here at last.
See you next time, everybody.